Hi guys, welcome to Tarot in the Dark. My name is Tori. Tonight we are going to do a timeless pick a card on what your inner child needs you to hear right now. Okay, there's a ton of energetic shifts happening, transitioning from the old energies into the new. This can be overwhelming for your inner child and your nervous system. So we're going to dig into what your inner child needs you to hear right now to assist and support you as you continue on from the entrance of the new from the old energies. Okay, so let's dig right in. We're going to be doing 3 piles, and I have the Inner Child Oracle Guidebook and deck here. Okay, so we're going to pull 3 cards, one for pile 1, one for pile 2, and one for pile 3. Try to just take some deep breaths in as I shuffle, allowing yourself to receive whatever is intended for you, learning to trust your intuition, your inner guidance on this journey. All right, guys, for pile number 1, what does their inner child need to hear right now? For pile number 1, what does their inner child need to hear right now? Okay, pile number 1, your card is, there is hope ahead. Have courage and take heart, for there is hope. I'll try to pull a few charms too, guys, once I'm done, because sometimes people like to use charms to select their piles. So we'll do that. For pile number 2, review your responsibilities. Not all responsibilities are yours to hold. Want it to come out, but it didn't, so we're going to put it back in and we'll see if it makes its way out. Okay, you know the way, trust your intuition, and you are enough. I'm only going to take 1 card, guys. Okay, this is it. Go inward. It is time to connect with your inner child. Love it. Pile number 3. What does their inner child need to hear right now? Ooh. Flow with the rhythm. Get lost in the rhythm of movement today. Wow, I love this. Guys, these energies are beautiful. I'm shaking because I shake all the time if you watch any of my other readings, but I did just have a boatload of coffee, so I'm amped up, y'all. Let's go. No, I'm just joking. I'm being extremely extra right now. Okay, give me just a second. Let me get my charm bucket, and then we will pull a few charms before we select the piles. All right, we have our little charm tray here. So let's see. I'm going to just kind of dig in. If you have headphones in, I would suggest turning them down. I'm going to just kind of, my eyes are closed, I'm just going to kind of dig and pull. Pile number 1. Okay, so for pile number 1, you have the key. Wow, that's awesome. Alrighty, pile number 2. For pile number 2, wow, you have the sun, pile number 2. Wow, the key and the sun. I mean, can you can you ask for better charms? All right, let's do pile number 3. Sorry, I hit the mic. Okay, so what? Let me see. What is this? My sight is so bad. Okay, so this is a little, it's interesting. It's kind of like a little ring, but it has like holes in it. It's giving me the vibes of like the moon. Okay, I'm picking up channeled messages from this, so I will show you or tell you once we get to your reading. But if you want to select this charm or pile number 3, we'll call that the moon for the sake of the reading. Okay, so let me adjust the camera and I'll tune my sound bowl. If you have headphones in, I would suggest turning them down, and I'll give you a moment to just meditate on the energy and select the pile that's most appropriate for you. Okay, all right, if you want to just take a deep breath in, I always suggest to just breathe in the energy of your day. Right? You're going to breathe it all in because there is an expectation that you're going to release anything that's not meant to stay with you. As you exhale, You can either close your eyes, leave them open, focus in on the cards. I'm going to tune the sound bowl and then ask you to select the pile that you are most drawn to. All right, I'll see you on the other side. Pile number 1. If you chose the There is Hope Ahead card with Have Courage and Take Heart, for there is hope. This is what your inner child needs you to hear right now, or you could have also chosen this lovely key here. So immediately, I was picking up on energies of access being granted to you, okay? Your inner child needs to know that the long road that you've been traveling is going to end, okay? Your inner child is needing to know right now that things will shift. They actually are shifting in your favor, okay? Your inner child also needs to know that long journeys build strength, they build stamina, but also they develop your characteristics, your personality. They create a version of you that you are supposed to become. Now, this is twofold. Sometimes that version that you want to become is not in alignment with the version of you that you can often feel forced to become. But your inner child needs to know that either way, whether you're feeling forced or if you're going with the flow towards this path ahead, this is for your best and highest good. Your inner child needs some TLC in this moment. Your inner child needs to know that your heart, though it feels heavy, it's also protected. You're safe. You're surrounded by love, by light, by support, through your angels, guides, God. You're loved. You're not climbing this mountain alone, nor is this the end for you. This is actually showing up as the beginning of your new. This has been a long, arduous journey, I'm hearing. You've had to cross many bridges, overcome obstacles that were unwarranted, is what I'm hearing. But there's a safe place. There's a haven of security, stability, and peace. And it's right up ahead. It's right up ahead, pile number 1. The mental anguish that you're feeling, the heaviness, the weight of the world, the burden of feeling like you're going at this alone, that's going to shift for you. This is absolutely temporary. They're showing me, okay, how am I going to explain this? They're showing me you, okay? They're showing me an individual that's bundled up and hidden underneath. It looks like paper, but I don't know. It could be some other material that's being crumbled up. Imagine you have, let me get this tissue. Imagine you have a bunch of paper. This key is going to be you for the sake of this, okay? Or let's just make the rock you, something more tangible. Okay, so this rock is you. All around you, it can feel like this. Like there's, you can't see anything, but there's paper crumbling around you. This paper crumbling around you is almost like a protective barrier that's keeping you solid, keeping you stabilized while you're in this, I want to say funk, but it doesn't feel like a funk because it feels like it's something you've been experiencing for quite a while. I think the significance of this is that although it may be scary where you're at, it may be scary to feel like you're going at this alone. This is significant for you to know that you are protected and that you are on the right path. You may have taken a leap of faith and walked in a direction that seemed very scary, unknown, unfamiliar. You may be doing something that you've not seen anyone else do before. You may have had to cross a bridge to an area of unfamiliarity. That's really the best way to describe it. It's as if you've stepped into this territory, or life feels like you just don't have like a pathway forward, right? It feels like someone who has found themselves in a situation to where you feel very unsteady, unstable, unsafe, and you could have felt like you are, as delicate as this tissue here. There's something about paper. You may feel as fragile as paper, as fragile as tissue, but your inner child needs to know that you're actually the rock here. That when you plant your feet in the knowing of who you are, there's stability. They won't let me throw this tissue away. I keep trying to chuck it, and they keep telling me to keep this. It's significant in your reading. The fragility of you, how delicate you are. Your inner child needs to be tended to just as this tissue needs to be tended to. Now you'll notice here the tissue has a little wound here, but it's not broken, right? Like, look, even here, there's a little hole here, but the tissue still functions. Your inner child needs to know that although you may feel wounded, fractured even, unstable, unsteady, again, fragile, your inner child needs to know that you are safe. You're stronger than you think you are. You're stronger than you think you are. It's interesting that the key is present with this energy, that there is hope ahead, because this key is calling out the fact that the access has already been granted and given to you. So your inner child may be challenged with feeling inadequate or insignificant. Maybe your inner child is struggling with feeling strong enough or capable enough to endure the journey. Your inner child may, due to fear, want to avoid, run, hide, and, turtle away. That's what they're showing me, a turtle. You may find yourself avoiding situations that feel difficult or challenging due to fear of not being able to conquer. So your inner child needs to know that you are capable, you are strong enough, but not only that this too shall pass, and this season is coming to an end. This season of isolation, this season of feeling abandoned and fragile, in general with life. You see this, want it to come out, that fear card. That season is coming to an end for you, pile number one. Your inner child needs to know to keep going, to press through the fear. I realize that I'm testing my resolve to live in the energy of love when we operate in the energy of fear. Your inner child also needs to know that isolation can cause further depression, further anxiety. Your inner child needs to know that there are people, places, and situations that can help you to feel safe, that can help you to feel seen, to be validated. You're not supposed to go at life alone. Your inner child needs to know that you deserve happiness. Your inner child needs to know that fear has no place in this space any longer. There's something about pushing through, endurance, being able to conquer, accepting that this may be a period of discipline, because that's how it feels to me. It feels like there's discipline from a place that's trying to get you to the next level in life, the next phase. I don't want to say level. I hate levels like that, but it's a phase. There are phases, there are cycles, okay? So your inner child needs to know that this cycle will end and a new will begin. But that even in this cycle, you can find happiness. I'm aware that being happy means that I'm on the right path. So there's something there about, and it's going back to what they were telling me earlier, that your inner child needs to be encouraged that you're on the right path, because I think you feel as if you've taken a wrong turn. I think you feel that things are going so against you that you must be doing something wrong. Your inner child needs to know that they are not a problem. You are not a problem. You are not a hindrance. You are not a challenge. You are not too much. Your inner child needs to know that happiness is for you. You are worthy. You are deserving of happiness. Your inner child needs to know that it's safe for you to believe again, to find hope in life again. It's safe for you to breathe again, because I feel like someone's holding their breath. Holding their breath because of fear. There's fear in this pile. There's fear in your inner child. Your inner child needs to be put to ease, put at ease, put to rest in some space of your life. I know that it hasn't been good in the past. I know that things have gone completely opposite of what you hoped and expected and prayed for. But your inner child needs to know right now that that is not going to be the case in the future. Your inner child needs to know that community is around you with the Aquarian energy here. There is community around you. Your inner child needs to know that there's a bigger purpose to what you've had to go through. It hasn't been in vain. There's a bigger purpose. There's discipline. There's they keep telling me this scripture. It says that discipline, though painful while you're in it, will reap a harvest for those who endure it until the end. And what it's saying is that it's exactly what you're being told here. Your inner child needs to know this right now, that yes, this is painful. Life can be challenging. You can feel like you're stuck and trapped in life, right? Trapped under a rock, no way out, stuck. Like, this is it. This is the end for me. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to turn. There's nothing I can do differently. This is it. So your inner child needs to know that although interruptions occur in life, which is what just happened with the camera, I just got interrupted. But although interruptions happen in life, they bring about a level of discipline. And that's what I was picking up on initially with the key and the There Is Hope Ahead card, is this energy of Saturn. Saturn is the disciplinarian. It's the teacher. It's the wise guide to get you to the place that you've always desired to go. Saturn is one of my favorites. And I love the energy of Saturn, which is also Capricornian energy, the devil energy in traditional tarot. Just giving you heads up, so when you see those cards, you can connect the dots and say, oh my gosh, this is what this is for me. The Saturn energy is here to teach you the lessons to get you to where you want to go. That's what I love about Saturn. Saturn's not here to beat us up, to make us feel defeated, to teach us lessons that we just, are the worst human beings ever. No, Saturn is here to befriend us. And Saturn right now is in Aries. So your lessons are more than likely going to be around the way that you see yourself. Do you see yourself as a weak link? Or do you see yourself as strength? Because if you see yourself as a weak link, or if you see yourself as being insignificant, if you will put yourself last and everyone else before you, then Saturn right now is absolutely going to be communicating with you to get you to rise, because that's not who you desire to be. So your inner child needs to be made aware that this is discipline that we are enduring for our best and our highest good. That this discipline will provide us with a harvest, meaning we will reap rewards at the end of this when we push through, when we regain our strength. See, we all have a level of strength that is within us, but oftentimes when life beats you up, you feel depleted, right? Like, I can recall times where I felt like I wasn't going to make it. It was just over for me. You know what? Just forget it. I don't even know. There's no way out of this. I've completely got myself in a bind and there's no way out. So I guess I'm just going to be stuck to suffer for the rest of my life. But that's not the truth. The truth of the matter is that those situations occur so that we can face those fears head on with the recognition that this is only at the forefront of my mind right now because that inner child is afraid. And I need to, as the adult version of my higher self, I need to convince this inner child that we are going to push through this. One thing you can do is recall a time when you were a child that you were able to overcome something that was terrifying for you. Like maybe you used to see demons or something when you were a child running around. Maybe you saw devils, monsters in the closet. And maybe you were able to say, you know what, although I'm afraid of the dark because there's monsters in the closet, I'm going to go to sleep and I'm going to conquer this fear. Maybe you were involved in sports and you were able to conquer the fears of getting hit or falling down or being embarrassed in high school. Remind that inner child that although you have been in several situations where it was unsafe, you deserve to get to your destiny and that destined location of happiness. That's your end goal here, is to get you to happiness based on what I'm seeing. And it's happiness that is not temporary. You want fulfillment. You want to feel surrounded and loved by people who will reciprocate what you give out. You want to be able to live in your purpose, in your calling. You want to be able to live in the things that you were placed here to do. What I'm hearing is someone say, I don't want to be here just to be here. Like, I don't want to just take up space. I want to actually be here and serve a purpose. And your inner child knows that, but your inner child needs to be made aware that they will no longer be the star of the show, because that inner child comes out whenever there's a situation that puts its boundaries, protective barriers at risk, if that makes any sense. So what I'm picking up on for you, pile number one, is that your inner child feels isolated. Maybe you feel like you've lost the people around you. Maybe you're longing for community, for companionship. Look, belonging, exactly what we're talking about. You may feel like you've lost everyone around you. You may feel like you're not seen, like no one notices you, no one pays attention to you. People don't even know that you're really unhappy with life. People overlook you. Maybe they think you're stronger than you feel like you are. Your inner child needs to know that all of those things can be very true. Your inner child needs to know that recognition will be given to you, but that it's initiated from within, which is why you have the key. Your inner child needs to know that the way out of this is through love, tender love and care, that TLC that was mentioned earlier. Your inner child needs to know that if no one else sees how far you've come, that your higher self sees it. Your team sees it. God sees it. Your inner child needs to know that you can rest in knowing that you're safe in your own physical body. Now, this is something that I find to be very intricate, is probably the best word for it. You know, oftentimes when we've felt alone, when we have abandonment wounds, when we felt overlooked, when we felt minimized, when we feel as if, people don't even notice us, especially when you're able to put on a mask and show up as strength, but really be suffering internally, it's very hard to accept this. But a part of inner child healing, sorry, when I channel, guys, my nose runs, so I'm trying to just clean it up. A part of inner child healing is reparenting. And with reparenting, what you do is you remove everyone else from the blame. So if we're pointing fingers, we point every single finger back towards ourselves when we do reparenting for our inner child. That's how we heal our inner child. And it's very, very, very challenging to give yourself something that you've never seen given. You've never seen anyone else give themselves recognition. When you've never seen anyone else, heal their abandonment wounds. When you've never seen anyone else love on themselves in the way that you need to in order to reparent, it's very challenging. It's 2:22 on the clock right now, guys. Showing how supported you are, how in alignment you are, and how you are on the right path that's going to lead you to happiness. The fact that you're here listening to this reading, your inner child should be applauded. You should be praised right now. And if no one else has told you, I'm recognizing the fact that you are showing up for yourself. You may think, oh, this is nothing, I'm just listening to a reading. No, you're not. You're changing your life. Every time you listen to a reading, doesn't necessarily have to be me, but anytime you are intentionally pouring into with a focus on your healing and the development of your higher self, you are pouring into you, and you should be recognized. You are doing good things. That is being on the right path, pal number one. We think we have to do these extravagant things to be recognized or to receive recognition, to receive reward. No, this is the right thing. These are the things that your team recognize and applaud you on. These are also the things that lead to your happiness. So, in order for your inner child to be recognized, it's going to start with you first going within. Now, the Aquarian energy here is very significant to what your inner child needs to hear right now, because Aquarian energy is about healing. It's the star energy, right? And when you look at a traditional star card in a tarot deck, there's typically a lady who is nude. And that has a lot to do with this, because a part of really recognizing yourself is being completely, wholeheartedly transparent about where recognition is needed. And so your inner child, from what I can see in your reading right now, absolutely needs recognition and love and grace in the area of abandonment and fears. So those two things right now are popping up in your reading for you to be attentive to, aware of, and alert as to how you may be triggered as you transition out of this old phase of being and transition into a happier lifestyle. So this is going to start with you sitting every day I would do it several times a day. Like if you put yourself on a schedule, you could say before you go to work, during your break, during your lunch break, during your second break, and then when you get off of work before you go to bed at night, maybe. Give yourself some type of schedule, just a mental schedule that you can check off. And throughout the day, recognize how far you've come just in that day alone. The more you do that, you're going to begin to recognize how much you've overcome. Because if every day you're conquering, if every day you're winning, if every day winning is simply meaning you're surviving. Okay? You don't have to put so much pressure on yourself to say, I have to thrive in every area. And at this moment in your life, this feels to me like you're just needing to get by. And that is enough, pile number one. It's enough. It's more than enough. For people who never get through the day because they quit, they give up. And I think your inner child has had so much pressure applied to it. Maybe you have some father wounds that have triggered you to feel as if you have to carry weight by yourself. Okay? You may have a mother wound that makes you feel like you need to do everything for everyone else. And I say makes you feel because sometimes these things give us feelings that we don't really want to have, right? Situations in life can make us feel certain ways and we're like, I don't want to feel that way, until we recognize that, hey, I don't have to, but in the meantime, it makes me feel this way. So I want to give your inner child permission to feel whatever it is that you want to feel. And I think you should give your inner child permission to do so as well. And in that, that's how you show up through transparency and allow your inner child to be seen, because your inner child feels neglected. Your inner child feels ignored, especially with this recognition card here. Your inner child feels unseen. Now, the interesting thing about that is that your higher self understands that. It's just a matter of, so for someone here, they're saying that you feel like your inner child gets in the way of your happiness today. And so what happens is you may want to shun that inner child away. Like, oh my gosh, like, when you make a mistake, you're like, oh my God, that's my inner child. I need to get it together. I need to stop this. And then that's shaming the inner child. When a better solution would be to, hey, I see you. I see you, Tori. To my inner child, I see you. I understand that we have not dealt with things like this before. I also understand that you're exhausted and you just want peace. You want to be over this. You want life to be better. And it is going to get better. It is. But on our way to life getting better, on our way to our happy place, we must find contentment in the now. We must accept that there is better coming, and we must also embrace the love and support that is afforded to us, even if it's from a stranger. We have to understand that God shows up in many different ways, and that a part of his way of showing up may be sending a stranger our way just to give us a smile. There's also something here about recognizing when you are being recognized and not rejecting it due to other wounds. Like maybe there's an expectation that you recognize your inner child in a certain way, or that someone else recognizes how far you've come. And that recognition can only come from within. That's going to satisfy you. If someone else recognizes you, it still wouldn't suffice. It's like the saying, you're waiting for somebody to apologize. That person apologizes and nothing changes. You ever heard anything like that? That's what they're saying here, is that even if you are recognized by others, you tend to reject it because the initiation of that recognition has to come from within you first. If you're unable to recognize yourself, then no one else will be able to actually recognize you, because it'll just fall on deaf ears. Wow, you have 2 8 cards here. I just realized that. All right, let's get a few tarot cards. Your inner child needs love, pile number 1. I think somewhere in life that love was maybe not given to you. And I think you may be showing up a little harsh towards your inner child. And I think you just need to be tended to. This can even be just resting, you know, just resting in your inner child's feelings. Allowing your inner child to just sit while the Hermit comes out to that. That is absolutely in alignment with what we're talking about. Yeah, I think your inner child just needs rest. It needs peace. Yep, the 5 of Pentacles, guys. That's that abandonment wound. The 5 of Pentacles can also be an energy of fear, because there's fear that you'll never get to the other side. Wow, then the Queen of Wands. This is that confidence that you're being asked to show up with. This is also an energy of maturity for me with this Queen of Wands. And then the 6 of Wands. Wow, guys. That's the victory. That's the success after the storm. The 6 of Wands shows up to say that you've been through a war. But after the war is over, look, there's progress. The 8 of Wands is here. And the Hangman is at the bottom of the deck. Guys, I love this because this is so on point with what we've been talking about the whole time. With the Hermit here, this is an energy showing up to just confirm how fragile you have been. You're on a journey to finding your truest self. Okay? Your higher self is calling you out of the darkness and into the light. But the interesting thing about the Hermit is the Hermit always represents, for me, the fact that you are the light. The key. This is what they were telling you initially at the beginning of the reading. You hold the key to your happiness. You hold the key to your victory, to your success. Nothing will change unless you do. And your inner child needs to know that. But it needs to be done in a very loving, graceful, patient, tender way. If nothing else, pile number 1, take away that your inner child today needs tender love and care. Just as you would love tenderly a newborn baby that you brought home. Say you bring home a newborn baby and that baby weighs 5 pounds, 1 ounce. It's going to be small, petite. You're going to tend to it in a very cautionary way, right? It's the same thing with you, and that's why the Hangman is here. The Hangman is here saying, be tender in the way that you perceive information. Also, with the Snake showing up here, be cautious that you don't get trapped in that. You know, for me, the Hangman always represents the fact that as humans, we tend to get really comfortable in situations that we should be uncomfortable in. And so this is saying to me in your reading that you may be too comfortable. You may have become too comfortable in energies that you should not be comfortable in. You've outgrown those energies, which is why your higher self is tugging at you. This is why your inner child needs to know that there's hope ahead, but you must have courage and take heart. What does that mean? That means take heart like a lion. You know, a lion, the lion in the Lion in the Wizard of Oz, right? Doesn't have a heart. He lost his courage. So find strength in your heart. Now your heart is going to nudge you to move towards the things that you truly desire, which for you, this is happiness. So find that strength from within to say, this is what I want and I'm not quitting until I get it. That's courage. That's strength. That's finding heart. And that also is what's going to get you to your happiness. The Hangman is suggesting to release the old, outdated belief systems. To release the ideas that you are abandoned in the desert, isolated, and all alone. Because what they're showing me is in this Aquarius energy and the recognition card is that there is community around you. You are supported, but you don't see it. And it goes back to you maybe rejecting it because you're afraid that it's really not sincere. And it's because it's the way that you handle your inner child. You're not sincere and genuine and recognizing and honoring and giving grace to your inner child because of your own fears. And so in return, it's hard for you to receive that from others because it's hard for you to give it to yourself. Now, I want to call out something, and that's the fact that that's normal. That's absolutely normal. There's nothing wrong with you for operating from that space. However, if you want true happiness, if you want your life to change, the Hermit is here to say you're going to have to become the light. You're going to have to switch the light bulb on. The only one that has control over that outlet is you. You're the only one that can flip the switch. And in order to flip the switch, you're going to have to come out of the idea of being stuck. You're going to have to release the identity of being abandoned, of being forgotten, of being lost, left out, going at it alone. And you're going to have to find somewhere within you, which is so interesting because this is also that Lion Leo energy. You're going to have to find within you some type of strength. Strength that is going to allow you to progress and grow. They're also bringing to my attention something about maturity. And this was very hard for me personally, guys. I had a very hard time with this. With accepting the fact that my life was for me to own. But that's what you're being advised with today, pile number one. Your inner child is needing to know that you have the power, you have the rule, you have the authority to shift this energy. But it's going to call for you to give up some unhealthy attachments. And those unhealthy attachments are that energy of the Hangman that have been keeping you stuck. You'll notice that the King of Cups is here underneath the deck, underneath the Hangman. Emotional maturity may be something that's keeping you from actually being able to accept this truth. I don't know why, but they're bringing to my attention, they keep telling me cognitive dissonance. And, guys, when someone first told me that, I was so ticked off. I was like, you got to be out of your mind. There's no way that I have that. Until I looked it up and I said, maybe I do. Maybe I do. And I'm not laughing at you by any means. I'm laughing at myself because this is like what's happened to me. I find myself stuck in this Hangman energy, being too comfortable in lack, too comfortable in feeling like the world is against me. And I've found myself here so many times until there was an awakening, an aha moment. That in order for me to get out of this pit hole that I'm trapped in, I have to stand up and get myself out because nobody's coming to save me. And that is so hard to grasp. Especially when you've been taught that something or someone else is going to come in and Prince Charming is going to rescue you from yourself. There's a recognition that, hey, I have to save myself. And I grew up in church believing that, Jesus was going to come and he was going to save me. And I believe that still, that he did. He came and he saved me already. And, I could go into all of that if I thought you might be interested, but I don't like to I like everyone to believe whatever they want to believe, because I don't believe that that's going to deter or affect your relationship with God. So I don't like to get into all of that. But what I do want to point out is that the saving comes when you recognize your own power and strength. And it can be by means of Jesus, Yeshua, Yahweh. It could be by means of whatever you think and want to feel. Okay, there's no judgment on this channel, and there never will be. Because every single one of us, although our experiences may be different, our pain is the same. And so, although you feel unrecognized, your pain is the same as mine, as the other parties watching, as other individuals. We all have felt pain this deep. If we haven't, as long as we live, we will. And we all, if we choose to cross that bridge to the other side, have to feel the weight of what it's like to pull ourselves out of this energy of stagnancy, the stuck energy of the Five of Pentacles. And we all have to convince our inner child, even when we don't believe it, that guess what? You got this. You can do this. You can do this. You can do this. You can do this. So your inner child is begging for you to encourage and to recognize how far it's come, but also to recognize the strength that it has to endure till the end. Because look at this Six of Wands energy, pile number one. Guys, you just don't even understand how powerful you are. That's also why they were showing this. Thank you, team. I love you guys. Thank you. Because look at this. Let's do this. You see, look at, even if we just did that, you notice this rock is covering up the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands represents confidence. This Queen of Wands in particular, for me, represents the ability to progress, to grow, to expand, to become lighter and lighter. And when I say lighter, it's not in color. It's lighter in the sense that you're freeing yourself. There's freedom here. She's gone from being dark to light. Okay? This is not a ethnicity color. Nobody's saying anything like that, guys. It's lightness. It's the weight. Releasing the burden, releasing the weight of the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles energy is a dark energy. It's a heavy energy. This is releasing it, going into light. So even if I just do this, you'll notice how this stone, you are covering up your confidence. And your confidence is being covered up by the fragility that your inner child may want to operate from. You know, this is showing up as definitely Hangman energy, but also Page of Cups energy. You know, when your inner child is so sensitive, it's so tender, it's, you know, its emotions are not fully developed, it's scared, it needs more tending to, more nurturing, more kindness until it can build its strength. That weight is heavy. But it also can find itself being too comfortable in situations that it has outgrown and that it should not be comfortable in. And so for you, this Six of Wands is showing you've been through a war. You've been through a battle. But those battle scars, those holes that you have, those wounds, they didn't break you, pile number one. Look at this. Even this, not broken. Not broken. You're not broken. You can be bruised, but not broken. And that's what your inner child needs to know. We may have been bruised, but we are not broken. And we were put here to conquer. We were meant to overcome this, because the discipline that Saturn is trying to teach us is only present so that it can push us into the happiness that we desire. Saturn is teaching you discipline by means of assisting and supporting you to find the light and the strength that you have within, to heal and recover from the abandonment wounds that you have taken on through childhood and brought into your adulthood. But the cards are screaming at you. Your team, your ancestors, guides, spirit, God, they are screaming at you, pile number one. showing you the strength that you have, the power that you have. With the Six of Wands, you fought a good fight, but guess what? Now it's time for you to be victorious. And the second you embrace this energy, you're going to recognize that the sun's going to come out with the Eight of Wands here. And not only that, but you're going to be able to progress forward. What I love about this particular Eight of Wands is that she's in the desert, but she's dancing. She's flexible. She's willing to be agile in situations that she would typically have fallen or succumbed to in the past, right? So previously you may have wanted to lay down and just give up. Not now. Now you found the strength within to create this victory that is permanent within you to allow you to progress forward into happiness. This is phenomenal. This is phenomenal. And all it takes is surrendering over, because the Six of Wands is a card of surrender for me as well. It's a card of surrendering over to allowing yourself to be recognized, allowing yourself to be seen, and here allowing yourself to be happy. Pile number one. Your inner child needs to know that you deserve this. That recognition is going to come from within and it's going to bleed out. This is amazing. I'm blown away by this. Let's read the card. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but we'll read what we can. I'm going to hold it up so that you can take a screenshot if you choose to, and then we will close your reading out. Okay, so feel free to take a screenshot if I can get my nails out the way. Alrighty, and I'm just going to read the invitation. Alrighty. When we recognize everyone did their best, we claim our place as an adult. We agree to what is, we assert our right to exist, and we understand our sovereignty. We recognize that we too deserve love, belonging, and happiness. Guys, there's no way. You see that? Recognition of our sovereignty is instrumental to wholeness and integrity. Everyone belongs in a family lineage, no matter what they have done or have failed to do. Nobody and nothing can be excluded. Each one of us belongs to this earth, to ourselves, and to our families. It is crucial to recognize your place in your family lineage in order to feel whole. This card invites you to crown yourself with belonging and sovereignty and claim your place in your life. Wow, this is powerful. I love this. Pile number one, I hope that your inner child has been encouraged, motivated, and inspired to step into your happiness. You absolutely deserve this. And again, if no one else has recognized you, I want to just take a second and recognize how far you've come. This victory, this success, the confidence, and the ability to teach your inner child, reparent and teach your inner child these new ways of being are so deserving for you. Okay, you deserve this. You're worthy. Please take it, run with it, be gentle with your inner child. Please be gentle with your inner child. These Saturn lessons can be very challenging, but you were made for this. You've already conquered and overcome. So continue to do that. May you be blessed abundantly. I love this. Thank you for being present. Feel free to drop a comment, like, and subscribe. And I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Thanks so much, guys. Bye. Number 2, if you chose the sun or the go inward, it is time to connect with your inner child. This is what your inner child needs to hear right now. So immediately what I was hearing is that there's an inner transformation occurring within you. Your inner child is needing to know that the information coming through is true, okay? There's something about questioning whether or not you're in alignment or whether or not you're receiving messages accurately, information accurately. There's some type of challenge with requesting information, receiving answers, and then maybe misinterpreting them. What I'm picking up on is that for some of you, your inner child has been adulting for so long that you're having a hard time acting through the lens of the inner child. Okay, so let me break this down. A part of healing, in my opinion, requires that your inner child be attended to, right? Your inner child has to be reparented. Your inner child, in my opinion, we all have parental wounds. So your inner child is seeking to be seen, made visible right now. But because of lifing and, things occurring, it's almost like your inner child has kind of been like suppressed or hidden. And so your inner child is needing to know that the information that you're receiving, the messages, downloads, the dreams, they're all kind of like knocks at the door, okay? Trying to get you to step into seeing your inner child. There is a metamorphosis that's occurring within you, within your inner child. But in order for the metamorphosis to occur, there has to be some type of recognition, validation, acceptance. What I mean by that is that you have to see this, okay? With the sun here, this sun for you is about illuminating something. This could be illuminating a side of you that has been suppressed, illuminating a side of you that has been washed over, swept under the rug. There's a version of you that is screaming to be seen. And this is a part of your inner child. It's screaming to be seen because it's going to be supportive in your life's mission or journey, is what I'm hearing very clearly. Okay? For a lot of you, what that means is your calling, your purpose, your reason for being here could have something to do with some type of creative endeavors. Your inner child is wanting to come out. Typically, the inner child starts to scream and wants to come out when we're preparing for some type of transition in our lives. When you're praying and asking God to help you to, move into a new arena, when you're asking and praying and saying, God, I want to do something different. I want to live a different life. I want to... I want to have fun. I want to do more fulfilling things in life. Things like that. When you're asking for things like that, then that inner child is going to start to peek its head. Okay, I'm dating myself here, but if you've ever seen those Hungry Hippo games, back in the days, the little hippos would pop their heads out, or like a Jack in the Box. The Jack in the Box would pop. Your inner child is that Jack in the box trying to come up, and so it's like there's a twirling, a winding of the box that's been occurring within you, and this is really because of your own request. So this inner child is not just coming out of nowhere saying, hey, come on, let's go inward, like see me, connect with me, let's reconnect. This is the part of you that's been lost is wanting to be found, okay? And that is the inner child within you, the more playful, passionate, joyful, excited, childlike version of you. And that's the metamorphosis that's taking place within, is that churning of that Jack, right? The churning has been taking place in order for you to be able to visualize by the little Jack popping up out of the box, right? I'm using this as a metaphor, but the Jack is trying to come out of the box. That's your inner child trying to come out and play. And it's because there's more to this inner child than what you think. You may think, oh, okay, this is just a part of healing. I'm just going to do this. But your inner child is like, no. We have a purpose. I'm trying to become one with you. To me, that is the reparenting. Okay, that's the healing, is when you become one with your inner child. That is reparenting that inner child to no longer be separated from you, because it is a part of you, but it's typically a part of you that wants to be suppressed due to past traumas, pains, experiences, and things like that. Your inner child is saying, I'm ready to come out of this box. I've been trapped for so long. Let me be free. So your inner child needs to know that you are okay with this new metamorphosis, this transition, this new phase in life that allows you to open up to experience and explore once again. Okay, these are, again, the parts of you that have been lost. Wow, you have this torn energy here. Wow. So your inner child this is what I was feeling too. Even trying to explain this, there's a very imbalanced, torn energy that I've been feeling. It's because there's a version of you that feels like allowing your inner child to come out and play would create more disruption and chaos in your life than peace. And again, this goes back to what they were showing me earlier. I think you've been really doing a lot of adulting. And I think that this adulting has interfered with your ability to be balanced in life. And life is not about all highs and no lows. It's also not about all seriousness and no play. You have to have a balance. And in order for your inner child and your higher self, which is the you, the adult you, whatever you want to call it, in order for those two to blend and to become one again through reparenting, there has to be a balance between the two, because the inner child is afraid, but the inner child is joyful. That's where your happiness, your joy, your fun, your excitement, the thrill comes in, right? That's where you pull on your creative endeavors, your passion, things like that. And then your higher self is the version of you that's like, hey, let's have fun, and let's also be balanced in play and work, right? It can't be all work and no play. For some of you, you had to grow up before your time. So you had to become an adult earlier than you probably needed to. And so you may feel like you can't tap into this inner child, right? You can't go inward. Maybe you've built a career or a business and you're focused on building that, and you're like, I don't have time. Whenever I stop working, I can focus on my inner child. And that's where this torn energy comes in. It's like there's a version of you that wants to go outside and play, but the other version of you wants to stay committed to being responsible. And your inner child needs to know that you can be both responsible and have fun and play. You know what's also coming through is that for some of you, you haven't been able to establish relationships with people. This could be romantic, this could be friendships, this could be connections in general. You may have a hard time connecting with people because of this imbalance. Because your inner child wants to explore. So the inner child is not afraid of being heartbroken or, disrupted when the inner child is reparented. Let me rephrase that, okay? If your inner child has not been reparented, absolutely you're going to operate from a space of fear. That's just what the inner child does. That fear is present because it's what's kept us safe. And without that fear, we wouldn't be safe. That inner child would be vulnerable, left out in the desert, abandoned and alone, waiting for a hawk or an eagle to come up and eat it. It's that type of thing. So if you don't operate from that space when you're unhealed, then you're putting yourself at risk. But your inner child needs to know that it's safe now for you to explore things that maybe have once been forgotten. Your inner child also needs to know that in order to live a fulfilling life, you really should have connections with others. I mean, that's how we learn our lessons. That's how God shows us ourselves. That also is a great way to learn how to reparent yourself. You can observe others, their mistakes, or the things that they do very well. Your inner child wants to fly. Your inner child is wanting to, again, I keep going back to the word explore. But there's gonna be a need. It's a need. It's not even an ask. if you're wanting your inner child to be reparent and you want to be able to move beyond this, there's gonna come a point in time when you're going to have to reestablish what balance is in your life. Because the way that you've been operating has kept your inner child from exploring in the way that it truly desires. And this loneliness card keeps showing up for you. I know that I am never alone. The energy feels detached here. It feels detached. Your heart space, it feels like your heart is detached. Your inner child is exhausted. That's what I'm seeing. Your inner child needs to know that balance is coming, okay? Yeah, guys, I can't make this up. I can't make this up. Your inner child is a dreamer. I keep seeing 12th house Piscean energy. Your inner child is a dreamer. Your inner child is an explorer. That's why that keeps popping up. Your inner child wants to be free to step into new experiences. But with this Virgo energy and perseverance here, this is showing that you spend most of your time committed to work. Okay, this perseverance energy says, I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. And I think that that's very true, especially with the Virgo energy here. I think you can set your mind to something and complete it. However, I think that in this case, I'm hearing very clearly that ignorance is bliss. And I think that for you, it's been easier for you to not see the version of yourself that may be more challenging to persevere and to conquer. So what happens is oftentimes we will commit ourselves to our jobs, to our children, to situations and circumstances that we consider to be safe, right? So I can stay committed and focused on working because work is safe. So I can make that my focus. I don't have to consider playing, having fun, building connections with people, because if I do that, that's going to put me in this energy of feeling torn between how to balance everything in my life out. Right? Like maybe you are the breadwinner in your household and you have a family to take care of. And if you pause and stop for a second to go over and enjoy something in life, then that could potentially, put a damper in your savings for the month that you have in mind. Right? Something like that. So instead you choose to stay committed to work and things that you can conquer. And this is due to your inner child not having confidence that you can conquer really whatever you put your mind to. So you limit what you put your mind to in an attempt to keep yourself safe from exploring things that could illuminate a part of you that you have lost, that may have been wounded in the past. Maybe you were told as a child you play too much, you need to be more responsible. Give me just a second, guys. Let me shift this. Your inner child could have, again, had to grow up very early on. And so you're like, this is all I know. I have not known anything but work. You may be at the stage in life where it's time for you to retire. Maybe in your community, your culture, it's important that you work and focus on work and only work. And for you, your inner child is like, we've done this. We came, we conquered. Now, can we have some fun, please? Someone's inner child is saying that. Can we have some fun? Can we balance this work out with some fun? Your inner child is, again, seeking this metamorphosis, this transition, this change. Guys, we cannot make this up. Your inner child is dreaming of a life that would allow freedom, play, adventure, exploration. And I'm really picking up on a sense that play is a fear for your inner child. And I think your inner child needs to know that you can conquer and persevere in more areas than one. You don't have to focus on just one area of life and make that the end all. Like don't put all your eggs in one basket is what I'm hearing. Your inner child needs to know that the energy that's keeping you torn is the resistance to change with that Virgo energy. It's the idea that you need to be perfect at work and perfect in these areas. And if you're perfect in these areas, you can't give in these areas too, because it'll take away. And there's also something that keeps coming through about a fear of connecting with others because of a fear that you will be disappointed, hurt, wounded. So that inner child is needing to know that you're safe. You're safe. All of your eggs don't need to go in one basket. You can conquer more areas than one. Your inner child needs to know that patience is key here. It's important that you are patient with yourself. Look at this, guys. Let me just, hold on. I need to hold these out here in case something else is sticking out. Your inner child needs to know that it's okay to put the burden down. Look at the 10 of Wands is your first card out, guys. This literally is, I've never seen this card this way, but this looks like you are being like held captive by life. Like you're burdened by your responsibilities. The 10 of Wands is the energy of feeling like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. I always refer to the 10 of Wands energy as the bag lady energy. If you've ever heard Erykah Badu's song Bag Lady, that's how this feels to me. It feels very heavy. I'm feeling a ton of energy weighing on my chest right now, my heart chakra. This is preventing you from being able to be free in operating out of your heart space. Your inner child needs to know that you don't have to carry this burden for the rest of your life. The responsibility and the onus of everything is not on you. Your inner child needs to know that you deserve a break. You deserve peace. You deserve rest, pile number 2. Because I'm concerned that you're not tending to your body, to yourself, your physical self, your energy in the way that you need to. You may find yourself overgiving, having sleepless nights, giving all of yourself over to help others and for the sake of others. You may find yourself covering up what it is that you really want to do. Maybe going along with what everybody else wants, but pushing to the side what you want. You may also feel torn in putting yourself first. Maybe you have a family. Again, maybe you're the breadwinner and you're like, if I stop or if I even slow down for 1 second, everybody else is relying upon me. Your inner child needs to know that it's okay for you to take a break and to be attentive to yourself. It's okay for you to have an imagination and for you to dream again. It's okay for you to think like a child. It's okay for you to fly. You know, I'm hearing someone say all of these things that a child would say. They're like, oh, I just want to pop my bubble gum. You know, I want to just blow bubbles. I want to go run outside in, a valley. I want to go run through flowers. I want to hug trees. I want to walk outside barefoot in the dirt, in the grass, etc. Your inner child needs to know that there's nothing wrong with that. Whatever it is that your inner child is seeking, your inner child needs to know that it's safe for them to let go. Let go of adulting, being responsible for everything and everyone. It's okay to release. It's okay to give this to someone else. If you're married, it's okay to say, you know what? I think I want you to cook dinner tonight. That's okay. It's okay to say, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I need a vacation. I need a break. I need space to myself. It's okay to say, I need to get out of this web that I'm caught up in. For some of you, that could even mean something drastic. Something unimaginable to you maybe months ago. But your inner child is needing a break. Your inner child is worn out. Your inner child is suppressed, pile number 2. And all your inner child is saying is, twist that jack a little longer so that I can pop out and play. The next card out is the 4 of Wands. Again, this is definitely given the energy of someone so committed and focused on home. The 4 of Wands is the card of stability. But also this 4 of Wands is showing up as the card of someone who's managing and running so many different things, maybe even like a matriarch of the family or the head of a household. Something like that is coming through. And it's almost like your inner child is showing me in this 4 of Wands that they're saying, you know what, I just want a timeout. Can I have a timeout? I just need a little break. Like, tag, you're it. Your inner child is almost saying, like, can we let somebody else handle this for us temporarily? Because look at this, guys. This is the 5 of Wands. This has to do with external influences. Okay? So this is absolutely about others impacting the burden that you're carrying. So I think your inner child needs to know that this burden is not yours to bear alone. That it's okay to ask for help. This 4 of Wands is also showing the energy of the 3 of Pentacles. Collaboration. Invite others to assist and support you. Let others know, hey, your opinions keep me stressed out. I need you to keep them to yourself. It's okay for you to say, I'm burnt out. I need a break. I can't handle all of this. It's too much for me. That is not a sign of weakness. With this Virgo energy here, you might feel that way. But that's not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength. Strength is when your inner child is able to say, I need help. I need help. Because this version of you that is seeking to shift and to transition into a more enjoyable life is the same version of you that has the potential to keep you in the energy of being caught up in this tornado. So it's really your inner child needs to know that there's a choice to be made. And the choice is either that you succumb to the wishes of everybody else or you allow yourself to be seen. You know, this is basically showing up as your inner child needing to know that it's safe for you to be the main character in your life. Look, you have the 2 of Wands, a ton of Wands energy. Every single one of these cards is Wand energy, which is also showing me that you're taking a lot of action, but maybe in the wrong directions with the 2 of Wands here. That 2 of Wands is showing up as you having the option and opportunity to make a choice. Is everyone else more significant than you? And if so, why? And you have the Ace of Pentacles here. There are new opportunities that are being offered to your inner child. This reading in itself is a new opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to step back and evaluate. I think you could really benefit from a weekend away by yourself. Like, no cell phones. If you need to have a cell phone, fine. But a weekend away somewhere in nature, I think could be extremely beneficial for you. Because it's almost like you need to pause. I keep seeing a 7 here. It's like your team is saying, we need you to pause. Oh, you have a 7 here and a 7 here. Pause in order for you to really reflect on where your life is going and where you want it to go. That's what this 2 of Wands is. Your inner child is begging you to let it out of the box because it's been trapped by the adult version of you that feels responsible for carrying the weight of the world on its shoulders. Last card. Wow. The 5 of Pentacles. See? And then we have the Queen of Wands here. So the Queen of Wands is absolutely the energy that you're being asked to step into. Underneath that is the Ace of Swords. Let's take these. I also want to take this Hierophant, and I'm going to take this King of Pentacles since he's right here too. The 2 of Swords we may touch on, but these are all very significant to your reading. The 5 of Pentacles is showing up saying that this burnout energy has left your inner child feeling alone. This is why you've been in the state of torn, this energy of being torn, because your inner child is burnt out. Your inner child does not feel supported. Your inner child does not feel seen, does not feel validated. In fact, your inner child feels like they're responsible for healing and finding the star on their own. Which, if you know anything about healing, if you don't, I'll tell you, so don't worry. But if you know anything about healing, we talked about this, I believe, in your reading earlier. You have to reparent your inner child. So in my opinion, every single human being has a parental wound, mother and father. I've never seen a father or a mother do it right and get it 100% accurate. I just haven't seen that in my 40-something years of living. So I don't think that that's possible. My opinion is that in order for you to heal, your inner child and your higher self have to blend in as one to become one, because these are versions of you. The higher self, the inner child, is shadow and light. And there's a merging together of those 2 energies by the process of reparenting yourself. But your inner child doesn't feel like they're connected to you because you've suppressed it so much, shunned it away, and told it, no, stay put. You're meant to stay in the dark because there's no space for you here. We have to be an adult. And because of that, that's led you to this energy of burnout. You're persevering, but you're not persevering in areas that you want to persevere in because life is not fulfilling for you in this moment. And I would even go as far as to say that for a lot of you who pick this pile, life is not anything that you want to carry on. Like, it's like the direction that you're going, you don't want to continue on if this is what life's going to be like. Your inner child is screaming, again, that Jack-in-the-Box thought. It's screaming to come out and actually find some stability in peace, in truth and clarity. So the Hierophants here, the Queen of Wands, the Ace of Swords, and the King of Pentacles. And I pulled these all out. You saw them from the bottom of the deck because they're very significant for your reading. And what they signify is that there's a huge focus and emphasis on building an empire, being a leader with the Hierophant here. Right? You may be working really hard, establishing goals to purchase a house, to live a certain lifestyle, to make sure that your family members are taken care of, established. I'm seeing children here. So you may work very hard to ensure that everyone else is taken care of and supported. But in that, there's a lack of fulfillment with the Queen of Wands here next to the Ace of Swords. And it's a lack of fulfillment because you don't have mental clarity. It's like your mind is cluttered and clustered with all of this burden, this weight, but there's no freedom in it for you. And as the Hierophant here, this is an energy that can get caught up in focusing on rules, and societal rules is coming through heavily for you, pile number 2. Societal rules, societal norms. I'm the mother, I have to do these things. I'm the father, I have to do these things. Again, these can be cultural. But what's happening is that it's keeping you trapped in an energy of do, and no time for rest and rejuvenation. There's no time for peace, for clarity. The Queen of Wands is the queen who is the one who is an entrepreneur, but she establishes her own path. She creates her own rule, her own way, and that's because she needs freedom to move around and do what she desires. But if you're the Queen of Wands, which there's a ton of Wands energy here, you're acting, meaning you're making stuff happen, but none of it is meaningful to you with the Hierophant and the Ace of Swords here. It's lacking meaning. And that meaning is going to come from your inner child being seen, from you tapping into the energy of play. The clarity in regards to what you can build, because I'm hearing someone say, well, I would love to live a life where I can build something that I actually enjoy. That's going to come through your inner child. Because there is a possibility, forget what society has taught you. There is a possibility. I see people do it all day, every day, on YouTube, on the internet, TikTok, etc. There are ways that you can build a life of your dreams with things that you enjoy while having fun, while playing. You can build financial stability and have passion involved in it, because I think those things are two very significant and important things for you. You want money and you want to be able to enjoy life. And the people that are in your life, you want them to be able to enjoy their lives as well. Your heart is huge. Your intentions are pure. But you're lacking the nurturing that you yourself need. Because everyone else seems to be more significant in this reading than you. So pile number 2, let's read the play card, and then we're going to close out your reading. I'm not going to read the entire section here, but I will hold it up so you can do a screenshot. There are 2 pages, so just heads up there. Okay, this is page 1 if you want a screenshot. And then we have, sorry guys, I'm flicking that in your eyes like that. And then we have page 2 here. Okay, so let's read. I'm just going to read the invitation. Play is the work of the child. Okay, play is the work of the child. It is through play that children practice interacting with the world, and it is through play that they discover the joy of creativity and imagination. This card invites you to reconnect with wonder and play. Play allows us to step outside of the confines of our adult lives and reclaim our essence. Wow, so in alignment. Sages and masters throughout time have shown us ways to become more playful and innocent, to return to the wide-eyed wonder of childhood while retaining our conscious adult awareness. We don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. George Bernard Shaw. Wow, this is so on point. I don't think I have anything else to say. Thank you so much for being here. I do want to point this out because this was just screaming at me. Look at this integration. This is just showing you that there is a way for you to integrate the uniqueness of you You may have some very specific things about your inner child that you know you enjoy doing, that are creative, that are fun, that are passionate things for you. There's a way to incorporate that in the life that you're already living. There's a way to nurture both the play and the work in a very balanced way. But it's just a matter of going within and allowing yourself to pause, which is where we started at the beginning of your reading. Pausing to be able to actually connect with your inner child and ask it, what is it that you desire from me right now at this point in our lives? Pile number 2, this was beautiful. Thank you for allowing me to read for you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all that you do for everyone else around you. I'm confident that they know how much you love them. The one thing that I want to leave you with is that you are just as significant, if not more significant, than those around you, because there's no way that you can give to them if you're not first giving to yourself. And as a reminder, the one thing that I tell myself consistently is that there's only one me. It's hard to sit down. It's hard to stop. It's hard to pay attention and be attentive to yourself when you're a giver, a server, when you love others. However, there's only one you, and what will we do without you? May you have the most abundantly blessed life, pile number 2. I thank you so much for being here. Feel free to drop a comment, like, and subscribe if this resonated with you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. Thanks so much. Have a good one. Bye. Pile number 3. If you chose the holy moon here, that's what I'm calling it, or flow with the rhythm, get lost in the rhythm of movement today, this is what your inner child needs to hear right now. Okay, guys, so immediately I was picking up on an energy of stored trauma in your body, okay? There's a sense that your body may have stagnant energy trapped in it, and in order to free it, there's going to have to be some sort of movement. Like, I just noticed that feather was trapped there underneath the Palo Santo that's burning, and it's almost like a carrier. Okay, so that's how they're showing this to me, is that your body is carrying trauma from inner child wounds. Your inner child needs to know that it's okay to release whatever pain, whatever trauma, whatever experiences were present as a child. It's okay to release those experiences. Your inner child needs to know that with this moon energy here, you no longer have to carry the pain. These wounds, these holes that you've been filling, the lack, the fears, the turmoil of your childhood experiences, for someone specifically, there's a hole in your heart. And your inner child needs to know that it's okay to release these energies now. You're free to move into more joyful, harmonious, fulfilling experiences. You no longer have to identify as this wounded child who carries guilt and shame. Guilt and shame keep coming through for you, pile number 3, which makes me feel like something traumatic happened to you as a child. I am picking up on some inappropriate schmexual activities. I'm really sorry. This could be very triggering. I'm sorry if those were your experiences, pile number 3. I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. I can feel the weight of this, even if it's not that specific topic. There were several experiences that you went through as a child that were very, very, very traumatic, overwhelming. Maybe you were impoverished as a child. There's some level of guilt that you've been carrying, or shame. Maybe your parents, your father, or someone did something that is affecting you. I'm getting all kinds of storylines, guys. So I'm just going to call them out just so that you know if any of these align with you, that this is your reading. So beyond the schmexual experiences, negative experiences, these were not positive. These were negative experiences, guys. I'm also picking up on someone who was born out of a situation that would societally look like something negative. For example, maybe a mother was a prostitute and got pregnant with you. Maybe there's a mother who was pregnant by a married man, someone who she was not married to. There's some societal norms, and you were born under unacceptable societal norms. I don't know exactly, again, like, I'm just giving the examples that they're sharing with me, but whatever your situation is, that could apply to you. Something to do with poverty, shame, lack, not having enough, missing out. Maybe your parents were older when they had you and you kind of missed out on a lot of experiences because they weren't able to tend to you or to care for you in the way that maybe younger parents would have. There's something that you carried as a child that is a weight of shame and guilt that you've still been carrying with you today as an adult. And your inner child is ready to hear that this does not have to stick to you anymore. Okay? In whatever areas you've been trapped, pile number 3, your inner child needs to know that it's okay to release those. There are openings that have been taken place. They've been afforded to you, gifted to you is what I'm hearing. And these may seem like small ways to release this energy, but you're going to notice the more and more you open up, the larger the holes become, and more will become released. Okay, so you may have done some work. You may have been doing inner child work, trying to kind of get to the bottom of it. You may have been scratching the surface on a lot of areas. This is saying that there's a larger opening that will take place the more you continue to do that work. So your inner child needs to know that you're on the right path, you're doing the right thing, and that the areas and versions of that inner child that need to be reparented are being reparented. So you are doing the work, pile number 3. I think you need to know that your work is creating progress, and it's absolutely creating breakthrough for you. Something about the full moon. We have a full moon on I think today's the 15th when I'm recording this. So the full moon is on the 31st of May. This is a timeless reading, so whenever you hear this reading is timeless. Whatever full moon is coming up for you is going to assist and support you with this breakthrough. Now, right now, the full moon is in Sagittarius on the 31st of this month, and this is the second full moon of this month in 2026. However, again, timeless reading, so whenever you hear this, the full moon that's coming up is going to be major for you. If you don't know what full moon it is, I would look it up on Google. And you can also check and see where that sign is in your chart, because that's going to support and assist you with breakthrough. So Sagittarius is the full moon that we have on the 31st that's coming up. That's the closest to the time that I'm recording this reading. If Sagittarius is in your first house, let's just use this as an example. This is the house of your identity, the I am energy. So it's going to expand, grow, develop, shift your perspective. Sagittarian energy for me is a lot about like perspective shifts, okay? Expanding your worldview, the way that you see the world. But because it would be in the first house, and I'm just going to use it as an example again, the first house is about the way that you view yourself. Can you expand and shift your perspective in the way that you view yourself? And connecting to this reading, that would say your inner child no longer has to be stuck or trapped in the energy of guilt and shame, because you're recognizing there's like an epiphany, a recognition. I'm seeing the Judgment card, that you are not responsible for others' actions, and that whatever weight has been placed on you due to unforeseen, unwelcomed experiences and circumstances, that they don't have to be carried by you anymore. Like they're showing you with buckets. In other countries, they take 2 buckets across their shoulders with a like a stick. And the buckets are sitting on both sides of the individual shoulders when they're walking. They're showing those buckets, and those buckets just kind of teeter-tottering because they're filled with water. You've been filled with emotions. But what's happening is this full moon that's coming up for you, whatever time you're watching this, is going to assist and support you in releasing the weight of that and seeing yourself through a different perspective. It's interesting that they had me use the first house as an example, because right now Saturn is in Aries, and that is the first house energy. So you may actually be feeling that right now at the time that I'm doing this reading, that your perspective of yourself is shifting. And not only is it shifting, Sagittarian energy is the energy of Jupiter. It's shifting for your benefit. It's shifting to provide you with good luck in that area. Okay, so for you, your inner child needs to know that you're on the right path. The work that you've been doing has been phenomenal, fantastic. It's working out for you. However, in order to continue the progression, there's going to have to be some movement of energy. Now, what they're telling me is that you in particular, pile number 3, you may be the group that needs to do physical work. It's 11:11 right now, guys. But you may be the group that needs to do physical work to actually keep that energy from stagnating. If you have those 2 buckets on your shoulders and you're just standing still, the water is going to become stagnant. But if you shift and you move as you walk, whatever physical activities you can do, walking, dancing, playing in a playground, jumping on a trampoline, whatever it is that your inner child considers to be fun, try to do that more frequently so that you can continue to just release this energy, because it feels like it's stored in your emotions. So they're also showing me that something beneficial, especially with this, being a moon for me, they're showing that the energy is trapped in your emotions due to you maybe not releasing it. So crying is going to be beneficial for you. Just kind of sitting with yourself, sitting with the energy, allowing yourself to just resonate with the feelings of shame, the feelings of guilt, the feelings of lack, inadequacy. I think allowing yourself to sit with those feelings is going to be super beneficial to healing and working through these inner child wounds. They're showing me the card in the deck, belonging, in the inner child deck. Okay, so we'll pull one of those cards later, but they're showing me the belonging card in that deck. So I think for a lot of you, and that's interesting because this is reconnection here, but something that is going to be beneficial to your inner child is reconnecting and finding places where you feel like you belong, because that could be another part of the shame and the guilt, is that maybe you never felt like you belonged, like maybe you never felt like you had a home. Your inner child needs to know that reconnecting with yourself via nature, there's something about finding your identity in nature. It's very interesting too, because first of all, this card is beautiful, but it's almost like you can find clarity by just sitting in nature. Plants may be significant for you too, especially considering there are lotus all around here. And it looks like it doesn't look like a lotus, but I think it's supposed to be. This also looks like a monstera to me, so I don't know, that may be significant to you, but there's something about finding a way to cleanse and purify your energy by just going out and being in nature. Maybe nature for you as a child was a place that you felt connected, and like maybe you felt like you belonged in environments outside. So that's going to be significant to you right now, as well as you go with the flow of allowing. Another thing about this flow with the rhythm is that Your inner child needs to know that it's okay to feel wounded, afraid, and any other emotions or feelings that you may have as an adult. I think what happens is when we've had traumatic experiences, which you obviously have, we tend to want to shy away or shun our inner child to just suppress those emotions. Our inner child also, because it's a child, it's going to want to run away from anything that feels uncomfortable. You think about it, if a 5-year-old does something wrong, they're going to shy away from getting in trouble and dealing with the consequences, right? They don't want to deal with the discipline because it doesn't feel fun to them, and they want to have fun. They want to do what's inviting and welcoming. They don't want to sit in the energy of crying, getting in trouble, being on timeout, things like that. So it's the same thing here, is that your inner child needs to know that it's okay to feel the guilt, the shame, the sadness, the fears. It's okay to feel all of the emotions, whatever they may be for you, at any point in time. You're not too old to feel this pain, this sadness, because there's something coming through here with allowance and allowing your inner child to just be without needing to necessarily adult, I feel like your inner child needs to be able to create space, but there's something about your independence. Okay? For some of you, you may find yourself connected to others very frequently. You may spend more time around others than you do by yourself. And you may do that as a way of, there's something about feeling connected, but also something coming through with avoidance, right? Like maybe staying close to others keeps you from having to actually sit and reconnect with yourself. So maybe there's an escapism energy in your inner child that wants to run from like sitting and feeling those emotions, which would be normal. That would be absolutely normal. I think every single one of our inner childs want to do that. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the higher self, your adult version, has to step in and say, we've been avoiding and escaping and running from this for far too long. It's time for us to resolve this once and for all. And the resolve is to be attentive to reconnect and reparent that inner child, so that that inner child doesn't have to feel the weight of this. Okay, that's the best way to say it, is your inner child wants to be free, but your inner child doesn't know that it's safe to be free because it hasn't felt that safety in the past. And so your inner child needs to know that the weight of this doesn't have to continue to be carried, that it's okay to release this, and that you're supported in releasing and moving into the next phase of life where you can find freedom and clarity in becoming the version of yourself that is at peace with your past. Okay, there's something about making peace with the past. You have the trust card at the bottom of the deck here. I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. I love this because, and I'm going to actually keep this out for you because I feel like this is significant. A part of this is, a part of what your inner child needs to know is that they're not alone. I think that this pile has dealt with some wounds around abandonment, and those wounds have left you to often feel alone, even though you are connecting with people. I'm seeing people around you constantly, but it's like you're connected to these people, but you still feel alone. And your inner child is still feeling alone because it needs to be nurtured and tended to by you and not others. There's a thing in inner child healing that I've discovered just from my practices and research and my own, individual work that I've done, and it's that inner child is only going to heal by reparenting done by you. Every single feeling that your inner child has that you would view as negative can only be resolved by you. There's nothing, no one, no substances, no food, no partners, children, grandchildren. There's nothing outside of you that's going to fill that void. Because there's a power that comes when you're able to sit and reconnect with yourself. It's to me, I would label it as a mending. So imagine that you have a blanket, a crocheted blanket that your grandmother started, that was never completed by her because she unfortunately passed away. And that blanket has just been sitting on your, in your like extra room, your spare bedroom for years, just waiting to be corrected, resolved, finished. Every time you walk past the spare bedroom, you look at it, but you're like, you know what? I'll get to that at some point. I'll get to it at some point. Well, there's a version of you that's going to feel like you've disappointed or let your grandmother down because you keep walking past this blanket. You guys were supposed to be finishing it together, and, she didn't make it. So you're going to feel obligated to go back to that blanket and correct it, finish it. And so that's the same thing here, is your inner child is going to continue to nudge you. That's the inner voice. Your inner child's going to continue to, fill your body with weight, stress, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, shoulder pain. You're going to feel this energy, which is your inner voice. Your body speaks to you just as loudly as that inner child and that higher self. So you're going to constantly feel this in your body until you embrace the fact that you're neglecting that blanket. So it's the same thing here. That blanket is metaphorically that inner child. So as long as you escape, avoid, run away, whatever words you want to use, as long as that happens, your inner child is going to continue to nudge you. So your inner child needs to know that you're not ditching them. Okay? Your inner child needs to know that you're here with them, that you don't see them as, the devil or a demon or anything crazy like that, but that you're afraid to sit with them because there's a recognition that there are some emotions that feel uneasy to sit in. Okay? But you're being advised to trust that you are being guided to do what it is that needs to be done. There's something here in this trust card that keeps showing up as, like, again, going back to that crocheted blanket where you're just like, okay, I'm just going to keep walking by. But there's a version of you that has to begin to come to a place to where you can trust that that's because this area needs to be tended to, that this area is ready. Because that's another thing that's coming up, is that you may feel unprepared for this. Like, I'm not really ready. Right? So why would I go? You may feel something in your body and you're like, oh, that's the shame from my father. And you're like, no, I don't want to deal with that right now. That's not really truth. That's something else. I'm just making that up in my mind, So it's like an avoidance energy in this trust card, that your inner child is begging to be seen and validated and heard and reparented, but you're again kind of avoiding that because you're not trusting that that's the right thing to do. Okay, and that may be where spending time in nature is going to assist and support you with reconnecting to your inner child, to your higher self, and being able to kind of merge those together. You have the imagination card here. I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. Now, this is fascinating. This is interesting because what I heard right away was the stories we tell. And so what I'm hearing is that your inner child needs to know that the stories that you're telling yourself may be truthful, and maybe they're not. Now, I'll be the first to tell you that my inner child likes to tell stories in an attempt to avoid accepting responsibility, seeing herself as being a brat, being, spoiled, and just crying and whining when she doesn't get her way. And to be completely honest with you, in love, that's what I'm picking up on here too. That your inner child may be very imaginative, and in imagination we can sometimes tell stories. Again, those stories can be truthful, but they can also be deceptive. And the deception, that sounds like a negative word, but guys, every word has positive and negative connotations to it, okay? Like, there's some words that don't necessarily have to be what we think they are. It's dependent upon how they're used. And so the deceptive energy can show up as, like your inner child saying, I'm going to protect myself. And because of that, I'm not going to believe that this is really what it is, right? Like, you can, again, tell yourself a story. Like, oh, I connect with myself. I do that all the time. Yeah, I'm totally by myself. I'm not avoiding any of this because I only have people around me because they like me. No, I'm not afraid to spend time alone. I just don't, because I don't have time. Those are the deceptive lies that we tell ourselves. Those are the stories that we tell ourselves in an attempt to keep ourselves protected. So they're saying here that your inner child needs to know that it's okay to be creative, to imagine things, and to dream up things. But let's be completely honest with ourselves when we're connecting with ourselves. See, these are not things that you need to go around and tell other people. Like, I wouldn't necessarily tell somebody what I just told you about my inner child and how she deceives herself and how her imagination, just goes around and just makes up crap. And it's like, girl, that is not really what happened. This is how I talk to myself. I'll be like, girl, Tori, that's not what happened. You are offended because your feelings got hurt, or because this happened, that happened. You didn't like it. You didn't get your way. So then when you don't get your way, you want to be a baby and you want to start whining, and then you want to make something somebody else's fault when it's not, it's yours. I'm a water sign. I'm a Pisces, y'all. So this is something that I do. And I have these conversations with myself just like this. But I wouldn't go out and just like put it on a poster board that, hey, my inner child deceives me, because that means I'm deceiving myself. No, but I'll tell you that because it's important for you to recognize. It's important for your inner child to recognize and understand that there's nothing wrong with you for processing the way that you're processing. And I think oftentimes, going back to what I was saying earlier, we can kind of demonize our inner child because they are good at helping us to see ourselves in like the truest light. And when you really sit back and reconnect, this can be scary because there's fear involved in seeing the complete and total and honest truth, which is also why a lot of people don't like my readings, because I'm very truthful. But it's because the core of me wants to get to the root of everything. I don't like to have unresolved things sitting in my energy or pain, and I don't want that for you either, because the reality of it is that that's how we get these blockages. That's how we end up with stagnant energy. That's how we don't actually get to live the lives that we dreamt of, right? So if we want to receive the dreams, the manifestations, the prayers that we've been putting out, we have to align with that. And a part of aligning with that is embracing and accepting the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So those stories that we've been telling ourselves by means of deceiving ourselves to keep ourselves safe are also the same stories that keep us small. And I'm not about playing small. And I'm also not about allowing anyone who comes to my channel to be fed any type of crap. I'm not going to scratch anybody's ears. And it's because I don't think it's good for you. It's not good for you. And I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I get on here telling you lies. And I know how hard this is. So I try to ensure that I validate you in the process. and I hope and pray to God that that gets conveyed in my readings, is that there's no judgment. You can probably tell by my voice I'm very passionate about what I do because I feel honored and blessed, and it's overwhelming to me at times to be able to be allowed to operate in this space. So as a part of me being vulnerable, I want to also allow you to be vulnerable as well, with an understanding that you're not opening yourself up in this moment to someone who can't relate or who can't embrace with love and, you know, like nurture you through this journey, because I understand how challenging it is. That's basically what I'm saying. And so I think that they're having me tell you this, Pile 3, because I think your inner child needs the same thing. And I had to do this with my inner child as well. I still do this. Inner child work, reparenting does not go away. There's no absolute resolve to where this is the end of it, right? But what there is there is peace in collaboration with your inner child and your higher self. And you if you heard any of my other readings, you'll hear me talk about emerging, and that's what I think this is. It's just emerging that inner child and the higher self, so that we're no longer detached from one another, but rather in alignment with one another for our higher purpose, right? For something bigger than ourselves. And so on this journey, it's important that we, and I think this is again why they're having me share all this with you, it's important that we nurture, tend to, and love our inner children. Most of us had parents who probably were too busy living life, trying to figure things out on their own to actually tend to us in the way that we needed to be tended to, or they were overly tending to us, like helicopter parents. That's what my son used to call me, the helicopter mom. And so you had one or the other, more than likely. One that was really not, emotionally present, or one that was overly present, but probably still not emotionally present, because I know I'm totally guilty of that. And either way, what it does is it leaves our inner child to feel neglected and abandoned and like, hey, who sees me? Who saw me? And so when you start to do inner child work, it's important that you nurture with very, very tender love and care that inner child, so that they don't feel shunned away. You think about it, when you were a child and you made a mistake, what happened? More than likely, your parents either disciplined you quickly, or they over-explained. They did something that never actually made you feel seen, heard, or validated, more than likely. Okay? And with that, if you do that same thing to your inner child, you're going to receive the same result, which is going to be the acting out, the shutting down, the avoiding, the escaping, things like that. And so I think it's important that you be aware of these things, so that in your tending to, nurturing, and your care that you're giving your inner child, you're aware that, hey, I don't want to push you back in that hole that you were pushed in by our parents. Let me be a little more gentle with you. And I think, again, that's why they're having me share my stories with you, so that you're, just given some information on how to do this appropriately, so you're not shunning away and shushing up and shooing away that inner child that's asking to be seen. Okay? I love this Libra energy. Sorry, guys. I know I'm talking too much. Wow. And Sagittarian energy here. Wow. I want to look this up too, Pallas Athena. Because I think that's significant. Let me just look it up real quick. Because I don't remember what it is, but I know it's something that's significant. It's at the bottom of the deck. The Warrior. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so this is intelligence, creativity, wisdom, liberation, diplomacy, zealous, and overly critical. I knew it. I was like, I know this has something to do with this. I think it's the overly critical part of you that is wanting to be brought to our attention. Libra and energy is all about balance. So you have Libra, Sagittarian, and Pallas Athena. Libra energy is all about balance. Sagittarian energy can be very, when it's operating in its shadow self, very, what's the word? I can never think of this word when I need it. reckless was the word, okay? I was like, what is this word? Whenever I'm trying to think of that word, I can never remember it. But when I say reckless, it's more of a like I'm just gonna do whatever I want to do, like flighty, right? Like I'm gonna do whatever I want to do without actually like putting thought to what you're doing, okay? And so that's coming through for you, is that for some of you, you may be, because this also would be an avoidance energy. It's kind of like, you know, like the Fool in reverse. I'm going to just do whatever I want to do in this moment without thinking about the impacts of it later. And I think what happens is when you get in your mind with this Pallas Athena energy here, I think you can be overly critical of yourself. And because Sagittarian energy is a thinker too, okay? I think you can become overly critical of yourself into to the point to where it can be the detriment of you. With this Libra energy is a thinker too, but Libra energy is about finding balance. So I think when you feel out of balance or imbalanced and you feel challenged by the fact that you're trying to establish and create balance in reconnecting with yourself, I think you take on the energy of I've failed, I can't get this right, I can't get anything right, and then you kind of just devour yourself. It's like going down a loophole. Sagittarian energy can do that too, where you can think about one thing and then you just kind of run off the cliff with it. And it's like that doesn't necessarily have to be that way. This is very hard, pile number 3. So if I had to be closely connected to one of these piles, you guys would be the pile that I would be most closely connected to, because I know what this energy feels like. I've fallen victim to this energy more times than I can count. This balance energy here is the key. And this is also one of the hardest things to do. And I'm going to put this card right here, the Libra card, so we can be reminded of that. It's extremely, extremely challenging to create balance when you want to operate in this energy of just getting over. That's also Sagittarian energy. Okay, is the energy of I just want to get over this. I just want to be over this. I don't want to have to wallow in the pain, because Libra energy can also be an avoidant energy when you fall victim to not understanding or being able to tap into, you know, a balanced energy. Okay, sometimes creating balance or trying to get to a balanced state can be so overwhelming that you just avoid it altogether. You're like, you know what, this is just too much. And it's through self-defeat, through being overly critical of yourself. And I think that's why at the beginning of the reading, they were stating to tell you, you know, how far you've come, and that as you chip away, the space, the flow will begin to open up even greater for you, because I think you've been working at this, but you may have felt like you aren't actually chipping away at it. And your team is saying, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Your inner child needs to know that it's safe to continue to chip away, and that you don't have to conquer Rome in one day, pile number 3. This constant reconnecting is how you chip away, okay? That's how you allow things to flow in and out of you. That's another thing that they want me to talk about, is how energy is movement. And so the walking, the physical activities are going to benefit you, but also the crying, the releasing, allowing yourself to get rid of old energies is going to open you up to new energies, which can be more balanced, because your creative, your imagination will be allowed to create from new experiences rather than through the lens of the old, if that makes any sense. All right, guys, I feel like this is, I hope it's straightforward for you. So we have the 7 of Cups here. Wow, this is so on point with what we were just talking about. I want to pull the cards. I'm just going to get 4 cards here, and then we'll talk about those and close the reading out. The 5 of Swords, guys. You guys, the cards are confirming. That's why I was like, I don't even think I need tarot cards, but let's just pull them. The 10 of Inspiration, which this is the 10 of Wands. Oh my gosh, this is so on point, especially these cards. I never know why they have me use specific decks for the piles, but this is making perfect sense. And then the Page of Voices, which is the Page of Swords. Guys, oh my gosh, I love this. Let me pull this over here. Bottom of the deck is Justice. Oh my gosh, Justice. The 4 of Cups is underneath that, but look at this Justice. This is alignment. Okay, this Justice card is speaking to the fact that things are aligning for you. But a part of alignment is clearing out karma, right? This inner child work is, for me, considered karmic work. It's shadow work. It's the work that most people don't want to do because, like we talked about earlier, it's very challenging. But in the process of you finding, I want to say finding your voice, because that's kind of how this feels. Finding your voice, you are bringing into alignment your inner child and your higher self. There is a merging here. I'm going to just pull one of these cards because I don't want to forget. And I think this is significant for you. So let me just pull one of these and I will wait until the end to turn it over. Okay. So that's the inner child card. We're going to read the book for that too. So I'll put this here. Okay. So what I was seeing with the Seven of Cups is that there's confusion that occurs within your mind. You may even, too, just reading this energy, you may even be a little confused as to where to start with this, right? Like maybe you're doing so much, your mind could be so overwhelming, like overwhelmed with several different thoughts, ideas. That's also this Pallas Athena energy with Libra too. Overthinking, overanalyzing, to the point of like self-destruction. That's also Scorpio energy for me. So you could have some Scorpio in your chart. Your Mercury could be in Scorpio, which Mercury is about communication. So maybe the way that you speak to yourself, the way that you think, your ideas can be overwhelming for you because you may find yourself in self-destruction. And this could be due, Seven of Cups is also Scorpio energy. This could be due to the fact that you may feel like there's so much that you need to conquer that it's hard for you to just stick to one thing. And that is actually the advice that's coming through here. With the Five of Swords, it's almost like you like, for some reason, this is showing up as you're just seeking an olive branch. You're like, I just need help. I just need support on where to start. Where do I begin with the many versions of me that need to be healed, that need to be tended to? And you've been carrying this weight with this Ten of Wands. You've been carrying the weight of this energy for so long, just wanting to release it. But I think the challenge is that you've been holding it for so long that it's almost aligned with who you are. And I think there has to be a detachment. I'm confident in that they're saying that too, guys. There has to be a detachment from that old version of you that operated from this specific space. So the lack of clarity, the feelings of thinking that you're imbalanced, that you should walk in this shame, you should carry this guilt, that this burden is yours. That's also that Ten of Wands energy. You know, the Ten of Wands typically would depict someone carrying a bundle of branches. And it's like, instead of asking for help, he's carrying them by himself. And so even in you having all these people around you consistently, you still feel alone because you're carrying this weight by yourself. But your inner child needs to know that that weight is not yours to carry anymore. It's not yours to carry. As a child, you weren't supposed to carry that weight. And as an adult, you for sure aren't supposed to be carrying that weight. It's okay for you to release the weight. And I'm hearing someone say, how do I release the weight? How do I release the weight? And that's what this Page of Voices is. This is the Page of Swords. Becoming curious about yourself. Okay, that's going to come by reconnecting, guys. So again, spending time in nature is going to be significant for you. Reimagining a life that would be fulfilling for you. And this comes in many steps. Okay, it's not just one simple answer. The first thing is going to be, though, to quiet your mind. This is one of the most challenging things, has been one of the most challenging things for me, but once you're able to do it, you wouldn't even believe the amount of clarity you can receive in a quiet mind. And so the first advice for you to work on quieting your mind is reconnection. So this could be just going out for a walk every day. This could mean if you live by a body of water, just sitting by the water. Now, these are activities that you are being advised highly to do by yourself, pile number 3. These are not activities that they're suggesting that you do with others, because for you, there's a very, very, very big emphasis on individuality. And I think that for a lot of you, you could have gotten lost in the identity of others or what others have placed on you, because you've never taken the time to truly sit with yourself. I'm just being totally honest with you. I do not feel for this pile like connecting to others is going to be a benefit. I think you're going to receive the most benefit. Now, I'm not saying that it's not going to be a benefit like overall, but for this specific type of healing work, I think you need to be independent. I'm not saying single or anything like that. I'm saying I think you need to find time to be alone. You could reconnect while you're in the shower. You can go in the bathroom and close the door, lock it, turn the shower water on, and just sit there by yourself. That's a way of reconnecting. But you're going to have to get creative and use your imagination, because your imagination is far more powerful than you're giving yourself credit for, because that's the other piece of advice is for you to, the Page of Swords for me represents being curious about something. The curiosity though has to come from a mental space of, I'm going to seek out something new. Let me think about this with a new perspective. It's something that you haven't done before. Because the Page of Swords is always seeking information, but it's mental because it's swords energy. So it's about your mind. How can I, in my mind, create or come up with new ways of thinking? Again, of envisioning life. What would a balanced life look like to me? What would life look like for me if I was not sitting in self-loathing, self-doubt? What if I was liberated with this Libra energy from all of the shame, the guilt, the confusion that I've been sitting in my whole life? What if I was enough just by being me? Allow your imagination to go back to being a child and thinking and dreaming and filling up all of the crazy, wacky things that you thought of as a child and were told they're stupid. All of those things that people said, oh, you'll never be able to do that. That's dumb. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you even think that. Go back and start dreaming of those things again. I'm telling you guys, like, there's so much power in your ability to imagine and create. That is the creative aspect of your mind, being able to imagine and create the life in your mind that you desire to live in. I'm telling you, this is a huge part of manifestation. I'm telling you, you have to first believe before you can receive, and it starts in your mind. So when you go and you reconnect and you sit, even if you just sit at the park on a bench, I mean, like, you can sit in your car, but I think they are highly suggesting that you get outside, sit on a park bench by yourself, sit on your patio in your backyard by yourself. Just sit and just listen to nothing. Your mind's going to wander. It's going to want to run away because it feels like this is a burden. But the more you do it, you're going to train yourself to sit in clarity. That vortex of and tornado of ideas and thoughts and crazy, like, just conflict and chaos that your mind has been sitting in, it's going to begin to, like, clear up. Okay, I'm seeing a straight line. It'll begin to clear up because there's an olive branch that's going to be offered to you when you redevote your life back to you. This is freaking powerful. Reconnecting. Your olive branch is going to come from yourself. When you stop and put yourself first, making yourself the center of your focus and your life, just by doing these little things, the little things are reconnecting with nature, going for a walk, moving, going to the gym, whatever you want to do, but do something that involves outdoor activities and being present with just yourself, nobody else around. When you do this, you're going to recognize that even if you did it for 5 minutes a day, you're going to see the progression. And that's what they're saying here too with this moon. So as you continue to move in that space of allowing yourself to sit with and reconnect with yourself, this little hole is going to switch over and it'll become larger. And it's just going to get larger and larger. It'll go from this here to this here. And then it'll expand into this. And I don't know if you can see this, but with this, you can go straight through it. There's complete clarity. There's no conflict, chaos, and confusion because there's space where you can go. You're going to create a space where you can go and reconnect with yourself and find clarity in your mind. Your mind is going to be a major, major, major thing to overcome here. And it's not to overcome it as in you're going to conquer it. What you're going to do is you're not going to allow it to conquer you. And instead, you're going to align it to the future that you truly desire, that your inner child has been seeking. And you're going to validate that inner child by telling them, encouraging them that you can do and be whatever it is that you desire, my dear. But what we're not going to do is keep telling ourselves lies that we are insignificant, inadequate, abandoned, that we're not enough, that we can't get there. We're going to explore this Sagittarian energy by opening up our mindset to believe that anything is possible. We are not the problem. We are the solution. And that together you can conquer the entire world, my friend. Let's look at your card here. Oh my gosh. You would get integration. Oh my gosh, I love this. I freaking love this. I don't even want to say anything. I just want to read the guidebook. You can probably imagine what this card is saying, but I love this for you because this is exactly what has been being asked this entire time, is that you integrate the old version of you into the new and align it, merging it together. Okay, guys, I'm going to hold this up. There's 2 pages. This is the first page. If you want to take a picture or pause and take a picture. And I'm just going to read this invitation. Okay, let me show you the second page. I hope you can see. Pause. Okay. And then this, there's 2.5 pages here. Okay, if you want to take a picture. And then let's go back and read. Wow, guys, I cannot believe you got that card. I love that because it's like the mosaic of like all of your conflict, all of the strife, all of the shame, the guilt that you've been carrying can be integrated into creating this life that you desire, because these are actually benefits and, again, solutions and not a deficit. Okay? Like, you're not at a deficit. You have a benefit. It's just that you're not recognizing these things as benefits to you. Instead, they've been carried as weight, as burdens with this 10 of Wands. But that's the olive branch, is that you reconnect with yourself and you start to recognize and integrate these confusing ideas, thoughts, emotions, energies into opportunities to expand and grow through your imagination, and that's going to allow you to open up to new creative ways of living life and enjoying your life once and for all. This is, oh my God. Integration. Another way to describe the inner child is to say that it is a part of you. We have many parts, some we are aware of, and others we have hidden away. The journey to feeling whole is a reclaiming of the many inner parts, while seeing each one and accepting it, while retaining our authority as the adult. Oh my gosh, guys, I can't make this stuff up. Isn't God amazing? These young inner parts are often afraid and need our guidance. They are frozen in time, in the moment a trauma took place. Once they trust that it's safe to be seen and heard, they become a resource and an ally. A new self-emergence once we have integrated our exiled parts. A self that is resilient, creative, vital, and compassionate. Oh, I love this for you. In his book, Homecoming, Reclaiming and Championing Your Inner Child, John Bradshaw describes, as you allow your inner child to become an integral part of your life, dialoguing with him, listening to him, setting boundaries for her, and letting her know that you will never leave her, a new power and creativity begin to emerge. Sorry, guys. I was kind of like falling in like a daze just listening to that, because I'm like, God, this is so awesome for you. This just gets me so excited to see that you have this opportunity to receive such a beautiful blessing and gift from within. It's powerful, guys. Just as in your family lineage, in which each person belongs no matter what, in your internal system, no part can be excluded without consequences. It is time now to integrate an inner part and weave back together what was separated. Oh my gosh. Pile 3. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. I hope this resonated with you. If so, please drop a comment and let me know. Please like, subscribe, and come back for more, guys. This is phenomenal. I can't wait to hear like how impactful this is when you actually start putting this into practice. Like, I can't imagine the peace and the balance that you're going to feel once you tap into your own internal power. I love it. Have a great day. I'll see you next time. Thanks for being here. Bye.